All right, let's go.
Speaking of baseball, let's do this. Everybody, it seems, is a fan of Shohei Ohtani, except my partner, Rob Parker.
Who said I'm not? I don't like Shohei.
I can tell the tone, the comments, the belittlement, the downplaying. Every time I bring up Shohei Ohtani, you bring up Aaron Judge. And here is what Curt Schilling, the great Curt Schilling, had to say about Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani. He had his 24th home run on Sunday. He's the fastest in Angels history to 150 home runs. And that is not a small thing. And I honestly mean this. I've said many times that I think Mike Trout will be the greatest player alive, anybody alive sees. I don't know that I can make that case anymore. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything close to it. People want to talk about Babe Ruth, but again, Babe Ruth wasn't the cleanup hitter and the opening day starter for the Yankees. Can you put into words how good he is? Nope. He's the MVP. There is no more valuable player in baseball than this guy. None. Not even close. If you're taking his offensive numbers alone, he might battle for the MVP. If he was a pitcher alone, he might battle for the Cy Young. But as an MVP, as long as he stays healthy, he should have the award every year.
Chris, you know I don't buy into that. I think it's the most. It's lazy. It's too easy. We heard guys say this last year. Oh, yeah, give him who was it? J.D. Martinez, CC Sabathia. I could go on and on. All really good players, great players, and they all were on this Ohtani train last year. And guess what? He got trounced in the MVP voting, Chris. He got trounced. Because it's not just about compiling numbers. It's still about winning.
No,
it is about winning. And the games that you piled up, did you play in any meaningful games? Did they matter? Now the Angels are in the race this year, Chris. They're in the hunt for the playoffs. So that's great. All I'm saying is pump the brakes to say that somebody's going to be the MVP every year no matter what, because that's just not it. And even Curt Schilling said, if you separate him, Chris, you got a conversation. If it was just about his hitting, he's not the best hitter, and he's not the best pitcher. Now, it's a lethal combination. I have nothing but respect for what he's done. But I hate the laziness to just say, give him the award every year. Guess what? Aaron Judge last year put on a historic season that kept people glued to watching him. His games mattered all year. Ohtani didn't have a meaningful at-bat or a meaningful start after May last year. Now, this year's different. And right now, Chris, he is the leader for the American League MVP. Hands down. But I'm not going to sit here and let these lazy baseball players just tell you to carve his name in the trophy every year no matter what. What he's doing is phenomenal, but he ain't automatically the MVP every year, and I'm going to stand by that.
Well, he's got to go out and prove it. I don't think anybody's saying, oh, just because he's a hitter and a pitcher, the first one in 100 years, that he should be the MVP every year. I don't think anybody's saying that. I think what they're saying is, I think what Curt Schilling and others are saying is that this dude is clearly the best baseball player in the world. And I don't even think that's debatable. You certainly, if you want to say Aaron Judge is the best hitter, but best player, period.
Yeah, but
it's clearly him.
They also told us that Mike Trout was going to be the greatest player who ever played. They told us about all these other. All I'm saying is,
well, nobody's predicting the future. We're not saying. Of course, everything is qualified with. He's got to keep doing it.
Well, that is
and
my
I think
point.
Anybody, I don't think CC Sabathia or Curt Schilling is saying if he gets hurt, he's still the MVP. You know what I mean? Nobody's saying that. They're just saying if this dude continues to play like this, he's the MVP every year. Let me finish this. Last year, I do think rightly Aaron Judge was the MVP. But why was he the MVP? Because he did something that no one else in American League history had done. It took 62 homers. What if Judge hits, obviously he's injured this year, but let's say he was healthy and hit 49, which is great, or 52, which is great, Shohei's beating him. Last year, if he had hit 54, Shohei was beating him. Like, if it's going to take something historic to beat him because he's historic.
Well, but here's my only problem with I hear you. You could sit here and act like he's going to do this all year, no matter what.
Nobody's saying that.
All I'm saying is this ain't over because he could slump. He could struggle. He could get shelled as a pitcher. There's a lot of things that can happen.
Who's saying that that's not a possibility?
All I'm saying
Nobody's
is
saying that. You're like arguing something different. I'm not
ready to go back and read the quotes. We could get the quotes from J.D. Martinez, who said he should be the MVP every year, no matter what.
Because they're saying Rob, you really think he gets hurt? He played 12 games. He should be the MVP. He had a bad year at the mound. Oh, he only hit 260 and only had 30 homers. He should be the MVP. No, nobody's saying that. They're saying, look at this dude play. He's the best player in the world, period. And it's understood that if he has to stay healthy and he has to continue to play at this level. But that's all. I just think you're trying to argue something that nobody realistically or obviously is saying. No,
here's my other point, is that impact matters. Impact on the lineup, impact on the team. Chris, despite all of the numbers and the pitching and hitting, and that he has Mike Trout on his team, they didn't make the playoffs a year ago. They're in the hunt this year. We'll see if they make the playoffs. Where's the impact? You got the greatest player on the planet, but he doesn't have the same impact. You tell me Aaron Judge doesn't have impact on the Yankees, and are the Yankees the same team with him in the lineup than without him? That's all I'm going to ask you.
He has great impact, but so does Ohtani, and you know we've talked about this before, and unless you've changed your mind, you agree with me. It ain't the same in baseball, even if you do both. Because Ohtani might be a great pitcher, but the other four guys in the rotation could be horrible. Ohtani might hit 450. I mean, he won't, but you know what I'm saying? You can hit 450, and if you got no help in the lineup, you're not going to win at a high level. Did Barry Bonds not have impact?
Yeah, he did have impact.
Even the year when he hit 73, he didn't win a World Series.
No, but my point is when you're up against somebody else, Chris, who has impact on their team. What if Aaron Judge is hurt? The Yankees are scuffling. They're out of the playoff race. He comes back and has a hot second half and leads them to the division. Don't tell me it would be automatic that Ohtani was going to be the MVP if the Yankees scuffle.
If Aaron Judge does that and Ohtani keeps this up,
you're going to tell me that people aren't going to vote and say, look what Aaron Judge did when he came back at the All-Star break and turned the Yankee season around?
Well, it does depend on how the voters, how they define valuable. And this is in all the leagues. Are they looking at, you know what I'm saying? But I think what guys are saying, and again, maybe I'm wrong. I think what these guys are saying is this dude is hands down the best player in baseball.
Well, he's doing two things at a high level, so I'm not going to argue that. The only thing I'm going to argue is the MVP has to be earned all the way. I just can't look at the unicorn and say, well, he's pitching and hitting. I mean, who else can? Nobody else is doing that.
No, but he's doing it at Cy Young and MVP levels.
Right now he is. I give you that.
Rob, you could say that about anybody. I could sit here and say, well, yeah, Aaron Judge, if he comes back and bats 170, he's not going to win. I mean, why would we make that argument?
No,
we're going off what they've done.
Yeah, but my point is last year there were people who thought Ohtani still was the MVP, Chris, and the writers disagree.
You lucky your boy hit 62 homers. Because if he hadn't done anything historic, I think Ohtani would have won it again. And maybe there will be, voter fatigue and stuff like that. But I just think, like I said, all the impact is different in baseball. Barry Bonds is the greatest example of that. Didn't play too much in the postseason, even though he won, 7 MVPs? And so this dude, like I said, it's like, Rob, you played Little League. There was that one kid that was way better than everybody else as a pitcher and a hitter, and everybody knew he was going to be phenomenal. That's what this dude is. He was going to the majors. When I played in Indianapolis, Gary Thurman was in the Little League. He was a stage above me. But everybody knew because he was hitting homers. He's going to the majors or he's going to be big time.
And then later
That's
on
what
you found out. Later on you found out that he was 15, so it just didn't feel the same.
Well, with him, obviously he made good on that. Got to the majors.